Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to unpack the 10 essentials of entrepreneur Iman Gaji. And look, this is way more than just a list of expensive stuff. It's a whole system, a carefully chosen toolkit for mastering your mindset, your image, and your productivity. So let's break it down. So Gaji kicks things off with a bit of a joke, but make no mistake, everything that follows is a super deliberate set of choices. We're going to start with how he manages his inner state. The tools that lay the foundation for his entire day before he even walks out the door. All right, so this first section, he calls it the inner game, and it's all about these private rituals. These are the core habits he uses for reflection, for focus, and even for prepping his mind to get the best sleep possible. Okay, so his very first essential is probably not what you're expecting. It's cigars. Now, he got into them back in 2020, but not in the way you might think. For him, it's a tool with a really specific, almost meditative purpose. See, he looks at a cigar as a way to force a pause. Think about it. It's a commitment of like 45 to 60 minutes, either to be totally alone with your thoughts or to have a deep, uninterrupted conversation. And in a world where we're all constantly distracted, that kind of dedicated, focused time, that's the real luxury here. And this isn't just a casual thing for him. No, it's a full-on ritual, and it's got its own dedicated gear, like a Patek Philippe cutter and a special dual-flame ST DuPont lighter. Every single part of the process is designed to reinforce that idea of just slowing down. All right, next up is something way, way simpler. Sparkling water. Specifically, San Pellegrino. Apparently, he made the switch from regular old tap water back in 2017, right as his businesses were really starting to take off. And the reason why is actually a pretty clever but super simple mindset hack. Basically, he just found it boring to drink liters and liters of still water. So by making it sparkling, he kind of gamified staying hydrated. He made it more fun, which means he actually does it. And this whole idea of being intentional even carries over into his social life. So like when he's out and doesn't feel like drinking alcohol, he's got this move he calls the restaurant hack. He'll order sparkling water with ice and a lime, but he'll ask for it in a wine glass. It feels special, like you're having a cocktail, and turns a simple choice into a whole experience. Okay, the last tool for his inner game is a pair of blue light blocking glasses. But the main reason he uses them, it's actually more psychological than anything else. So yeah, it's not just about blocking blue light from screens. He's using them to create a mental trigger. He pops them on about 3 hours before bed, and that one simple action tells his brain, hey, the workday is done. It's time to wind down. It's a super effective way to build a hard line between work time and rest time. All right, let's switch gears. Now we're moving from the inner world to the outer world. The things that shape how he shows up and how people see him. So essential number 4. Watches. Gaji's style is pretty straightforward. He says he keeps it simple and classic. So for him, watches are the one place he can really inject some personality and, have a bit of fun. And his watch collection is like a perfectly curated toolkit with a different watch for every situation. He's got the classic Patek for a formal night out, a Rolex Daytona for when he's more active, and a pretty wild Richard Mille just for fun. But if he had to pick just one, he says it's the Patek Nautilus because it's just so versatile. Okay, next up on the list, shoes. And his philosophy here is super streamlined. He basically thinks you only need 2 main types of shoes to handle pretty much anything life can throw at you. So on one hand, you've got the Loro Piana summer walks and open walks. He says they go with literally anything, from shorts to a full suit. And then on the other side, for that more casual, kind of cool vibe, he's got his Travis Scott lows. Between just those 2 styles, he feels like he's covered. And the final piece of his outer game puzzle is cologne. He really sees it as the ultimate amplifier for your whole look. As he says, your outfit can be as basic as it gets, but if you're wearing an incredible fragrance, you're always going to look like $1,000,000. Okay, now we're getting into the global game. This is all about the practical, nuts and bolts tools that let him live a life of constant travel while managing a team of over 100 people completely remotely. And that brings us to a really important number, 5. Yeah, he runs his entire operation using 5 main phones. His workload hasn't really gone down. He's still putting in those 10 to 12-hour days, but where he does the work has totally changed. It's all on these devices now. Get this. He even travels with a brand new, totally separate spare phone, just in case one gets lost or broken. I mean, when your entire business relies on being connected, the idea of being stuck somewhere without a phone, it's just not an option. It's a backup plan that's born from necessity. So when it comes to the actual travel part, his go-to luggage is Rimowa. And he admits, part of the reason is just the feeling of it. He loves that solid, satisfying click the latches make when they close. It just sounds well built. But that incredible build quality has this amazing side effect. It's basically a personal chair. No joke, he'll actually sit on his carry-on and just ride it through the airport. So the luggage isn't just for carrying stuff, it's a multi-tool for travel. To round out his travel kit, he says he always makes space for his Bang & Olufsen speaker. And for capturing memories, he's a big fan of the raw, in-the-moment feel you get from film cameras, carrying a whole range from a manual Leica to a simple Contax point-and-shoot. So, after all that, what's the big takeaway here? Well, it's really not about the fancy brands or how much these things cost. It's about the system. It's about the why behind every single choice. You see, every single item, whether it's a simple bottle of sparkling water or a super expensive watch, is a tool he's chosen on purpose to manage his mindset, to craft his image, or to make his work more effective. And that kind of leaves us with a final question to think about. What are the essentials, the tools and rituals, big or small, that you intentionally use to build your life?